As you guys can see, there's no spinning going on in this video. There's no clapping going on in this video. Every now and then I have to sit down and have an honest conversation. A lot of my videos are satire, joking around with my community in a very informative way. But this is one of those videos where it's like, we all got to have an engaging conversation. And at any time during this video, if you guys disagree with me or if you want to throw something into the conversation, definitely do it in the comment section below. I'm definitely going to read those very thoroughly this particular video. But what's going on, you guys? Gaming out here coming at you with another video. Today we're going to be talking about Xbox producing their games and publishing their games and porting their games on the PlayStation 5 and the Nintendo Switch. For the longest time, we've heard about Microsoft going third party in a variety of different ways. Now, have they always been third party? To a degree, yes. You got stuff like Minecraft that's been on both platforms. Now Call of Duty on both platforms. But I think everyone thought that's where it was typically going to end. We weren't ever going to get anything like significant on PlayStation. That's until recently. I have been hearing dwindling rumors. People have been whispering into my ear for a good amount of time now that, Microsoft is entertaining the idea of bringing more of their games to, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch. And then we heard, Nate said that he's been told that a very critically acclaimed game is coming to another platform. And so when we're looking at that, everyone thought, including myself, thought it was Ori. And the reason I thought it was Ori, because Ori is on the Switch, but it's not on the PlayStation. So I thought, maybe Moon Studios had some kind of negotiation, and they're able to secure the rights to Ori, and they're porting it to the PlayStation when they got those rights. But it looks like there's strong rumors that it's going to be Hi-Fi Rush. Right now, a lot of people think it's coming out for the Switch. That's what generally people think. I think it's going to be everything, because to me, why would you release one on the other? And what's funny is there's other insiders today saying they too have heard it's coming to the PlayStation. We've actually seen people like Jeff Grubb say that he's been hearing that games like Sea of Thieves is being ported to the Switch and PlayStation. And like I said, Ori most likely will come to the PlayStation 2. I think Jess Gordon said that. Okay, let's talk about different versions of games going multi-plat. Because I do think not everything is created equal. And maybe you guys disagree with me. Put it in the comment section below. To me, Sea of Thieves makes sense. That's a games as a service. That actually can benefit more because they want engagement more than anything on that particular game. So it would make sense, such as Fallout 76, such as Minecraft, such as, Elder Scrolls Online. These type of games generate a lot more money and a lot more engagement because there's just more people to play the game in general. So, as long as it's cross-play, it's between all of the platforms, games like Sea of Thieves make sense. And I think for the most part, no one in the comment section should disagree with me on that one. Sea of Thieves being on multiple platforms is better for everyone. Now, Ori, that's a little bit different too. I see Ori as a studio that is not owned by Xbox, that has went their own way in a lot of scenarios, and now they're making multi-platform games. So that actually makes more sense to me too. It's just like, not the exact same scenario, but it's around the same type of thing that happened with Alan Wake. They're able to secure the rights to Alan Wake, and they're able to, really do more with that brand. And when I mean they, I mean Remedy Games. So, Microsoft worked with them and, kind of was playing, nice ball with them, making sure that, Alan Wake 2, maybe the relationship wasn't to the best. So they were trying to secure Alan Wake 2 at least coming to the Xbox platform. And then you have Hi-Fi Rush. Now, because of the Moon Studio one, if that came to PlayStation, Ori did, I would be more up for that because it belongs to someone else. Like the actual creators belong to someone else. You know, we're never going to get an Ori 3 because Xbox, I believe, owns the Ori franchise. I might be wrong on that. Someone correct me in the comment section below if they do own them. But even if Microsoft owns them, they don't own Moon Studio. So we'll never see a sequel to that. So to me, if Moon Studio hits up Microsoft's like, yo, we want to put our game on multiple platforms, what do we have to do to make that happen? I can understand a conversation between Xbox, Microsoft, and Moon Studios and coming to a middle agreement and putting that game on platforms that isn't the Xbox. However, Hi-Fi Rush is different. Microsoft owns Tango Studios. Microsoft owns Bethesda. There's no reason to put that game on competing platforms. Now, let's talk about why they would do this. There is a lot of speculation going on that maybe Microsoft's not hitting these internal metrics and they're more open to the idea of bringing more of these smaller games to these other platforms. Now, I, for one, would not like to see Hi-Fi Rush on anything. That includes the Switch, that includes PlayStation, because I do feel like Hi-Fi Rush is a very critically a game. People love that game. To me, you know, does it make sense to the Xbox as a brand? Yeah, you'll generate more income. Does it make sense to the ecosystem? I don't believe it does. You know, you've already devalued your platform known as the Xbox, and to me, I feel like you'd go above and beyond to tell people you don't need an Xbox. You know, we have the commercial where they said no Xbox needed or no console needed. You could play this on Samsung TVs. Do I think that that's okay? Yes, but I feel like there should be better ways of explaining that information. For instance, if you're promoting one side of your company, you know, the cloud computing side, and it should never devalue any of the other side. There's ways to word that where it doesn't hurt the Xbox brand as much. And I think that's like my biggest issue with this whole scenario. It's like I feel like Microsoft is trying to do so many things that they're not focusing on one thing. They're trying to appeal to so many people and they end up not appealing to anyone. All I'm saying is I want what's best for the ecosystem. And I personally feel that putting some of your best stuff on competing platforms is not good for the ecosystem. And then not to mention, where does that leave the mindset of the consumer, of the industry in general? I feel like it's not good. I mean, look at it from the perspective of everyone in the industry, every consumer, every content creator, every person in the media. Look at it from that perspective. You know, when a game gets announced that Microsoft has bought the studio or, you know, they have a timed exclusive, almost immediately you hear someone say, but is it exclusive? Do you know why people say that? And, you know, I do feel like to some degree it's unfair, but at the same time, it's not unfair. Microsoft is one of the worst people I know when it comes to messaging. Microsoft needs to not be afraid to upset people in the industry. And I feel like a lot of this, that's what this is. You know, I feel like some of this is people higher up want to see a little bit more of a return sooner rather than later, which is interesting because when they talk about these things, they talk about long-term plans, like 10 to 15-year plans. But I feel like this feels such a short-term plan. You know, let's put our stuff everywhere. Because at that point, Hi-Fi Rush, even though, is it going to move the needle anywhere? No. It's not like a Starfield. I think Starfield going to PlayStation would be like 10 times worse. But Hi-Fi Rush puts enough of a, what's what I'm looking for? Enough of a gap in the armor where people say if Hi-Fi Rush can go, what stops everything else from going? And I think that's the biggest issue here. It's the consistency of Microsoft, of Xbox. Xbox, you got to be better with the consistency. Do I think they're going to bring the whole slate to other platforms? No. You know, I think Hi-Fi Rush, maybe, you know, CD, stuff that makes sense in smaller titles. But I do think they're going to save their console sellers, the stuff that's going to really move the needle, like Hellblade, Avowed, Elder Scrolls. These games are going to be saved for their ecosystem. But at the end of the day, even if these games do stay with the ecosystem, you porting these smaller games over to the competition, even if it's just the Switch. Now, if it's just the Switch, it's a little bit better. But to me, you port into the Switch, people are saying it's just a matter of time before it comes to PlayStation. And like I said, there's people on the internet right now that's saying they're hearing it's PlayStation. And I've heard something similar myself. So with that being said, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that having stuff like Hi-Fi Rush go to multiple platforms is going to devalue the Xbox brand? Do I think it's going to? Yes. I don't think it's going to dramatically do it. But I think it opens up the door for what's next. And let's say that they do put that over there and they see a huge portion of money flowing from these other platforms. What's that stop from the higher up people to say, yo, what happens if we put a Starfield? We made this much money off of Hi-Fi Rush. Do I think they're going to make that kind of money off Hi-Fi Rush? I got my doubts. I think Hi-Fi Rush is an amazing game, but we've seen through games coming from PlayStation to PC that once you get a game coming out a year, 2 years out after its original release, the sales get drastically smaller. So to me, is the money even worth the headache of what you're doing to your brand? I say no. But I don't know what's going on behind closed doors with Xbox. But anyway, tell me what you guys think. I'm very curious your guys' opinion. If you enjoyed this video, definitely hit that like button. It's always appreciated. You can always sub to the channel. I make weekly content. And I hope you guys have a fantastic day. With that being said, have a good one. It's going to be crazy when this gets announced. I wonder if Switch announces it or PlayStation.